Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the RRT Boxing Show, the Ready Talk Boxing, with your host, Mr. A. That is who I be. This episode number 23, and we're doing many topics. You know, we got the legacy fight between, Tony Bellew's legacy fight. We got the up and coming fights that's about to happen this weekend. We're going to talk a little about AB, Adrian Broner, being the first reached out. Well, not the first reached out, but the publicly known to say no to Eddie Hearn, his own deal. So we're just going to get right into it. First off, I want to off the bottle Jack and Stevenson fight. So now that fight is done, you know, everyone's talking rematch except for one person, the interim champion, Alexander Gvozdyk. Remember, he's next in line. So he's talking, he wants his shot right now. So the WBC is saying, okay, given that was a tough fight, Don Stevenson kind of went to war, him and Bottle Jack back and forth. It's up to the fighters. Because remember, at first, that fight was only allowed because by Alvarez. He's been the mandatory for so long. He finally said, fine, I will allow that fight if I'm guaranteed the winner and a certain amount of money or something. But he ended up getting that Kovalev shot, so that step-aside deal went away for him. And next came the mandatory, the interim champion, Gvozdyk. He looked more normal in his last performance. I forgot who it was against. I want to say, was it Amir or whatever? Was it against him? Well, he wasn't as the hammer. And I don't know if it's that fight or the previous fight, but he didn't look as sharp, you know. But you still wonder, with his movement and his punch output, will it be too much for Stevenson? Because obviously Stevenson's going to want that fight at a distance. You saw what he tried to do against Jack. When it came inside for an inside fight, Jack took it over. And Gvozdyk is quick on his feet, scoring volume of punches, who has a good 1-2 and a strong hand himself. It makes you wonder, can Adonis handle 12 rounds with someone with that type of gas tank? Because Gvozdyk will, I believe, make Stevenson come for him at times. And maybe Stevenson learned from that old plan, like, hey, I can't throw as many punches. But he tried to get Jack out of there quick, and I think that kind of backfired on him. You know, so that's a good. Leave a comment down below. What did you want to see? Would you want to see Gvozdyk, the interim champion, cash that in and get his shot at the title against the real champ, or would you want to see Stevenson versus Jack 2? As good as the fight was, I had Jack win, but as a draw, I don't want to see the rematch. I'm not a big fan of rematches right away. So I'm going for Gvozdyk and Stevenson. I would like to see that one. You know, what's the point of having an interim belt if you ain't going to let the guy cash it in? You know, he's been holding it on for almost, if not a year, close to a year. Let him get his shot. You know, Charlo will get his when it's about a year time. Then that's when I will start complaining for Charlo and Triple G. Now, moving on to the next topic. You know, you see a lot of people Tony Bellew just did his David Haye defeat, and he's been calling Andre Ward out about, I knock Andre Ward out, I do this, I do that, I hit harder than I guess anyone he faced. He's not ready for me. Talking about a legacy fight, and people were saying Andre Ward, has been working out, staying in shape. I think both fighters, if Bellew want to talk legacy, he should do what he originally said a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, but I believe both these fighters should do the same thing, and that's go for undisputed. I believe Bellew weighed about 210, no more than 215 in the David Haye 2. So, and Andre Ward is looking about 200, I believe, 189. I'm pretty sure he's walking around 189 to no more than 205. And I'm thinking Bellew go back down to cruiserweight. Because I remember him saying he wanted to challenge Gvozdyk. And both Gvozdyk and Gas have said after the tournament that they have very strong, heavy interest in coming up to heavyweight. So he could fight Gvozdyk, but it won't be as meaningful if it's not at cruiserweight with the undisputed titles on the line. That's if Gvozdyk wins the the WBSS. Now, regardless who wins that, and no one is saying anything, but what if, Andre Ward is just laying low for one? I know he had big plans of making a heavyweight fight, but what if he's like, what, I can't do it. That's kind of a little bit dream pushing, but I can do cruiserweight for one last. What if Andre Ward is laying low, staying in shape to go for undisputed, challenge the winner of the WBSS? Another notch in a legacy career. Gvozdyk versus Andre Ward. Gassif versus Andre Ward. Good ass fights. Some big boys. You got Gassif, a hard, heavy body puncher with a nice, strong jab. You got Gvozdyk, who's kind of a volume pity pat puncher with some good movement. It'll be, and the fact that they're going to be naturally the harder hitters because they're heavier guys, it'll be a nice challenge for Andre Ward. Not saying that Andre Ward can't hang with him technically, but just the size, it'd be very interesting. So I think that's, like I said, Andre Ward right now is staying retirement, but everyone's always talking about, they got videos of, they see Andre Ward looking in shape, he's doing good, he's working out. Andre Ward's playing little never say never games. And Tony Bellew, I don't think it'll be hard for him to lose about 15 pounds to get back to cruiserweight. Would he want to do it? I think if that fight is in I forgot where Tony Bellew's from. I know he's from the UK, but I forgot what city. I know they're all blue. The crowd was all blue. The soccer team's blue. I think if that fight's in his city for undisputed, the 4 belts in the cruiserweight division, I think that'd be a nice cash out, a nice legacy fight. I think it'd be a bigger. What's bigger? Beating Andre Ward, which is pretty damn big. I know that. As I say it, beating Andre Ward. Or, okay, I didn't fight Andre Ward, but I defeated the cruiserweight undisputed champ. I retire with all 4 belts. You know how fucking golden he'd be sitting in his chair doing those commentatings? They're like, oh, and former undisputed cruiserweight champion here, Tony Bellew, here to call the match. He'd be like, oh, well, it feels good. It felt good to be he'd be a real proud dude to go down with all 4 belts. But I'm just saying, I think that is a better legacy Like, yeah, you could beat Andre Ward, or you go with those 4 belts. It doesn't happen too often, and I don't think it ever happened in cruiserweight. So either way, he has a first to do something. Again, leave down in the comments below. What do you think? Should Tony Bellew really go for the Andre Ward fight, or go for the undisputed cruiserweight, or what do you think? What do you think if about the decision if Andre Ward decides to surprisingly come back and challenge the WBSS cruiserweight winner? Do you think Andre Ward has a shot at any of them, Gvozdyk or Gvozdyk, beating those two to become undisputed champ? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. Moving on, we're going to be talking, crazy announcement, Eric Molina. This is just a nice banned substance here. Eric Molina, who has a fight coming up on the 25th against Maurice Walk. He was recently suspended by the UK anti-doping for a banned substance, not a PED. He was. This was after the Joshua fight. He was tested 11 hours after the Joshua fight, and he was found to have dexamethasone. It explains why he did. It explains why his poor performance. He has something in his system that he wasn't quite right to. I would have beat Joshua if he didn't have that in his system. Now it makes perfectly sense why he was turning away. I think that banned substance gave him an allergic reaction where he just turned away from the fighter. And but back to being serious, he was found with that substance in his system, and he said, "Yeah, I did have it. I took a Tribodoxal DX shot before the flight. I guess it's a vitamin B12 shot, and it was in the solution." So, but the UK anti-doping, they were not playing. Like I said, it's not a PED. It's just a banned substance. It's a worldwide treater for asthma, cancer. But I guess it gives the average person maybe a little bit more endurance. That's why he was just turning away so much. He had that endurance to turn, and it makes you want to see. Like he's still gonna go fight in Poland on the 25th against Maurice Walker. Like I said, this is the UK anti-doping. So I guess Poland got their own little thing. So Poland is allowing him to fight if he could get on that flight tonight. Oh, another helicopter. The Army base. If you know this, if you tune into the show, you know Mr.A. Studios, the RRT Boxing Studios is next to an Army base. We get a lot of Army helicopters flying around. And so Molina, who gets suspended for 2 years, and this is not even a PED. I believe it's just like Canelo. You see where I'm going with this? You had to see. Canelo, a banned substance. The UK gave him 2 years, and this was after the test of Joshua in 2016. Canelo just tested positive twice this year and got a 1-year suspension cut down to 6 months due to friendly cooperation. It would have been nice to see that type of punishment. 2-year ban off a 2-year-ago test, and then here you go giving a guy a 1-year ban with a 6-month suspension, which is basically a regular time off. He got nothing. We all know that. That's a slap on the wrist, kiss on the cheek. He went and had knee surgery. He's out there on a river on a lake getting a tan. So was he really suspended? No. This is normal break off. Canelo wasn't going to fight anyway. until well, okay, he missed a fifth, but he's still right on his regular old pace. So like I said, it would have just been really nice to see an all-around good suspension. You know, you got one drug anti-doping agency doing it severe, and you got WADA over here, WADA, taking a little slap on the wrist. It just, come on, boxing, come on. And then the first no deal not happening. You know, because I believe Eddie Hearn also reached out to Mikey Garcia. I'm not sure if he reached out to the Charlos, but the Charlos said something. You know, they've been saying, but Eddie Hearn reached out to Adrian Broner for a 3-fight deal, 3 fights in a 12-month span, keeping him busy. Like I said, as soon as I heard Eddie Hearn was getting a Matchroom USA deal, I thought that was awesome, because I whether he's giving you top-notch fighters, Eddie Hearn gives you a mix of fighters. Stay busy fights, good fights, you know, softball, but he keeps you busy, and I'm pretty sure that's what this 3-fight deal would have been. It would have been a softball, a good, probably a tough fight in the middle, and then just a stay busy fight at the end, or something like that. It was a 3-fight deal for $6.75 million. You know, the first fight was September this year. Third fight was March of next year, and the first fight was September this year. Second fight March this year, and the third fight being September next year. So, like I said, a 3-fight plan in a 12-month span, breaking with an average of $2 million for the first fight, 2.25 for the second fight, and 2.5 for the third fight. And Adrian Broner, now this is publicly the second offer I know he has turned down. Remember, he turned down Jay-Z's Rock Nation deal. That was like what, a six fight for $40 million, and here he's getting a 3 for 6.75. So did Adrian make a bad? Is this another bad decision by Adrian Broner? Because I don't know how much he made fighting Vargas. I believe it was like 1 million, 1.2. I could be wrong, but I think it's somewhere 1 million or something like that. I don't think he made 2 million fighting Vargas. And so this is basically 3 fights for 2 million each. And Adrian Broner said no, it's a slave deal. Like now I'm gonna hear saying, is it a bad deal? But at the same time, no opponents was ever named. Now, what if one of those opponents happened to be Amir Khan? I believe that fight would be a huge fight over in the UK, or even in the. I don't believe it's stated if all 3 fights were going to be in the USA. It's a 3-fight deal. Maybe 2 of them in the USA, 1 of them in the UK. Like I said, no information was really stated just for a 3-fight, 6.7. Maybe that's why Adrian Broner said no. Because if he's fighting Amir Khan, he probably could generate a good stadium filler and get more than 2.5, more than 2.2. Now, maybe him and Amir Khan could each get paid 3. You know, Amir Khan can maybe get 5. Maybe, you know. And who, like I said, I don't know off the top a lot of 147. And again, what weight were these fights going to be at? You know, was it going to be 140? Was it going to make Adrian Broner go up and down in weight? You know, because Adrian Broner likes to do his catch weights. You know, so what, is he going to make Adrian Broner go at 140, then go up to 147? You know, fight. Is Josh Kelly with her? I think he might be with her. So what? Kelly, Khan, you know, so it's a tough one. It would have been real tough. it's a little understandable why Adrian Broner said no. You know, you don't know who you're fighting. You don't know what weight you're fighting at. You don't know where you're fighting at. But on paper, looking at it, you're like, dude, you haven't made that type of money in your last 3 fights. So who knows? Who knows? Oh, maybe Adrian Broner is making that type of money off the back end of about billions promotion. But then again, that Vargas fight wasn't about billions. Remember, that was a Mayweather Promotions fight. So, you know, if he, who knows? Who knows? You know, who knows what type of money Adrian Broner was doing? But he said no. He said no. Now, moving on forward to up and coming fights this week. So if you have not got ESPN Plus, you know, I haven't got it yet, but I think I might pick it up this weekend. And I just hope, I haven't done no research in it, and I hope it's like a DVR thing. If you missed a fight, they have it safe so you can watch it whenever you want, you know, because ESPN Plus is going to be hot. And 25th and 26th, ESPN Plus got some cards on it. You got the 25th. You got the bantamweight champion, and then you got the bantamweight champion McDonald taking on Inoue for the WBA belt, and supposedly the winner. I don't know why both of them just won't go, but the winner, definitely if it's Inoue, is going to enter the WBSS tournament because the other 3 bantamweight champions are already in the tournament. They signed on, this being the 4th. So you have that as the co-main event. That should be a good fight. And then you have the main event. You got a rematch of the WBC light flyweight champion Ken Shiro taking on Guiana Lopez. Now, Ken Shiro is one of my favorite fighters since I started this show. You know, he's one of my favorite fighters. Like, if I have to say, you know, creating this show, who have I liked? You know, top 5. I'm not gonna name the whole 5, but Ken Shiro is one of the fighters in my top 5 since creating this show. I like him a lot. I think he's a good mixture of fighting you and moving around the ring. And you got Lopez, who's going to come forward. You know, they had good exchanges. Ken Shiro could not win all the exchanges. Lopez forced him to hit and move. So it's going to be interesting to see if Lopez made any adjustments, or is Ken Shiro going to pick him apart and then win it again with his feet. And then you got that's the main event for the WBC light flyweight rematch, again on ESPN Plus. And then you got the co-main event. Like I said, you got the Inoue taking on McDonald. And this is tough. This is real tough because you got the height and the reach and the grittiness of McDonald. You know, the dude finds ways to win. He fights. You know, he gets in wars. You know, he uses the ring well. And then you have Inoue, who's going up to 118. Is he going to be able to handle that weight go up? The 3 pounds? You know, it is 3 pounds, but hey, people's body react very strangely. Will his power still be the same? Will he be able to get past McDonald's jab? You know, will he be able to use enough movement to cut McDonald off, or will McDonald have him reaching and again picked off by a jab, pulling off a huge upset? You know, because like I said, McDonald gets in a lot of wars. Will he not be able to handle the war of the power of Inoue in an even exchange? Because he's always getting into a slugfest. Will this be the slugfest where he can't win? You know, he's a tall, slender guy, and Inoue has a great left hook to the body. So it's real interesting to see what will happen in that matchup. And then on the 26th, ESPN Plus, another double title match. You got the IB. This is a super lightweight super flyweight. I'm sorry, super flyweight card again on ESPN Plus. The 25th is Inouye versus McDonald. Shiru versus Lopez. The following day on the 26th, you got Jerwin Akasa, the IBF super flyweight champion, taking on number 1 Sultan. And then that's the main event. In the co-main event, you have Khalid Yafi taking on number 10 David Carmona. David Carmona, he lost to Inouye. That's why I remember that name. So it's real interesting to see what. Carmona, the number 10. Obviously, the main event is a better fight, and then you got the Sultan, who looks to me look like he throws his punches with a little more velocity, a little more power. You got the crispier and the timeness of Akasa. You got that jab as well. So will German be able to keep him out there on the jab, or will Sultan be able to power himself through? And then I don't know too much about the Khalafi guy. I haven't seen too much on him. I've seen, I think, one fight of him. I think it was on the. I want to say it was some undercard, but I don't know too much about him. That's why I'm interested to check him out. And then also on the 26th is David Lemieux. David Lemieux is fighting Karim Aknard. It's for a WBC Federon middleweight title and the WBC international middleweight title. This fight should be very, very interesting. You know, I had no idea what the hell to expect from this fight. And then once I did the research on it, I'm like, this fight just might be good, folks. Karim, he's like a mirror image of David Lemieux. One of these guys are going to knock each other out. They throw heat rocks, bricklayers, you know. They go out there and punch with bad intentions the whole fight, you know. Now, David Lemieux, we know, can be outboxed. If you're a boxer, you can outbox him. Karim, to me, he has a more effective jab. He uses a jab more, but his bread and butter is the same as David Lemieux. Get inside and hook the shit out you. But he throws a little uppercuts, while David Lemieux just wants to hook your body and knock your ass out with a hook. So, and you know the saying, don't hook with a hooker. These two are hookers. It's going to be, you know, I see Karim gets hit. He gets hit a lot by jabs. David Lemieux could be outboxed and hit by jabs. Footwork is an enemy of David Lemieux. This guy is quick on his feet, you know. So it's going to be interesting. Will he take his brute style and kind of tweak it a little bit, considering what Billy Joe was able to do against David Lemieux. His last fight before Billy Joe, I think, was Reyes. Even though David Lemieux got a wide unanimous decision on him on the card of the Chavez Canelo fight, Reyes had moments where a jab and movement, Lemieux couldn't do nothing. You know, so it's interesting to see, will Karim. I think I'm mispronouncing his name. He's inside. He throws the punches. To me, he has he's quicker hands. But David Lemieux loads up on one shot. You know, While Kareem, he throws hard, but he throws a lot of shots, even uppercuts in there, and he comes forward behind a jab more often than Lemieux does. Lemieux kind of just jabs and stays out there. This guy will step in with his jab, so it's going to be real interesting to see who's going to get knocked out between those two. Now, before we go off, there's one thing I have been talking about, and that has been Katie Taylor. We're in the show with the good old Katie Taylor. I know she's going for undisputed, and she said, before I go back to the U.S., I want Queen Rose. So she's saving Pearson for last. I don't know if that's going to be a U.S. fight, but that is real good news. And I'm excited because, like I said, I think she's fast enough and fast hands. I think she could beat Queen Rose because her feet. I think she's going to be too quick on the feet for Queen Rose. Now, the problem I always said with that fight is going to be Queen Rose is pretty heavy-handed, and her timing is great. Jab is but her timing with the hooks, like she's like kind of a female Danny Garcia. And if Katie Taylor gets into her dominating rhythm and comes in like her Amir Khan style, you might see Danny Garcia hooking Amir Khan, but this time it's going to be Queen Rose hooking Katie Taylor. That's the only way I really see her winning this fight. And I'm interested to see, will Queen Rose be backed up? With the pressure of the onslaught of the punches from Katie Taylor, make Queen Rose fight backwards. Because if Katie Taylor is able to push her backwards, it's a done deal. Queen Rose can only come forward with the power. She's not a back foot check hooker. She does them, but I don't think if she's going backwards, she's handcuffed and she's not trusting herself. I don't think she's going to be able to. I don't think she's going to try and sucker Katie Taylor into a back foot check hook. That's going to be gutsy. Like I said, she's heavy-handed, and I'm going to be interested to see if she can land some shots on Katie Taylor. This might be the fight where we see what kind of chin Katie Taylor got. And she got hit against McCaskill. But, that was just a wild looping shot to throw with her. Queen Rose turns, with the punches, torquing the hips, sharp, crisp hooking. So it's going to be real interesting. I'm highly excited. I was happy to read that Katie Taylor called her out. Like, I want Rose Valentine before I go back to the U.S. So maybe she'll fight her in London. So that'd be real good. So that's how we're going to end the show. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of that fight? Again, please leave a comment down. This is the Double RT Boxing Show. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I am your host, Mr. A. Thank you for your time and support. What do you think of Adrian Broner saying no to the $6.75 million deal offered for 3 fights by Eddie Hearn? Leave a comment down below. What do you think about the Andre Ward and Tony Bellew legacy fight? You want to see that fight, or do you want to see one of those guys go for undisputed against a WBSS winner? Please leave a comment down below. Answer that question. I don't think I'm going to get too many answers or questions, but if you guys do partake in this, thank you. Oh, do you want to see Adonis and Stevenson in a Jack rematch, or do you want to see the interim champion Alexander Gvozdyk get his opportunity? And what do you think of how many of you guys out there have the ESPN Plus app? And if you guys do have it, let me know. Are the fights like DVR? Can you watch them anytime you want if you missed them? Because a lot of times I work and I got to come home and watch the late night replays of fights. Like, for instance, I had to watch the late night replay of Jack and Stevenson. And what do you think of those fights? Who do you guys got in the McDonough and Inouye, Shivu and the Lopez rematches? And if you are familiar with David Lemieux's opponent. I want to say, is it Karim? Who do you think is going to win that those bricklayers? Man, check those gloves because someone's getting knocked out, I think. Again, I'm your host, Mr. A. This is the Ready Talk Boxing Show. Thank you for your time and support. Episode 23.